Ever feel like you're just stuck in your dating life? Like you're running in circles? Well, you are definitely not alone. In this explainer, we're going to dive into the world of professional dating coaching. We'll look at it through the eyes of one company, 9GPS, which has been helping people find love since way back in 2006. So let's see how they get people unstuck.
Whew. Let's start with this quote right here because I think it hits a little too close to home for a lot of people, right? It's that classic, super frustrating cycle of mismatch and disappointment that just leaves you feeling completely and totally stuck.
And that feeling of being stuck, it almost always spirals into burnout and fatigue. So what are the biggest hurdles people are actually facing out there? Let's break them down.
Okay, so a huge piece of this puzzle is what's going on inside your own head. It's that anxiety, that insecurity that just kind of creeps in and makes you second-guess everything. You end up sabotaging your own chances. It's that classic case of being your own worst enemy, where the pressure just feels like way too much.
And then, of course, you've got the external battle, dating app exhaustion. Oh man, we've all been there, haven't we? The endless swiping, the chats that fizzle out, the ghosting. It is so draining, and it makes it really, really hard to stay positive.
And this slide, wow, it just lays out the whole vicious cycle, doesn't it? You're attracting the wrong people, you're carrying around baggage from past breakups. The source calls this a dating albatross, which is such a great image. And eventually, even your friends kind of get tired of hearing about your dating foibles, the same old dating mistakes. It's just a frustrating loop to be stuck in.
Okay, so if that's the problem, how does a dating coach step in as the solution? Well, the whole focus shifts from frustration to finding a guide, someone to show you the way out.
And what's really interesting here is that the coach's credibility comes from a super personal place. Their journey started almost 20 years ago facing the exact same struggles as their clients. They were looking for love, and it just wasn't working. And that personal experience is what led them to create 9GPS back in 2006 to help other people find a better way. So what is 9GPS exactly? It's positioned as your personal guide to Cloud 9. And the key words here are high touch and one-on-one. This isn't some generic one-size-fits-all program. It's a deeply personalized service that's all about creating some seriously dramatic change in your love life.
Right, dramatic change sounds amazing, but how does that actually happen? That's where the method comes in. Let's get into the nitty-gritty and look at the step-by-step process they use to build a real strategy for success.
Okay, so they have a 3-step approach, and the order here is really important. It all starts with healing, dealing with that dating albatross from your past. Only after that internal work is done do they move on to strategy, and then finally refreshing your external image and profile. It's all about building a really strong foundation first.
Now this slide is fantastic because it puts everything side by side. On the left, you've got doing it alone, which usually means guesswork, making the same mistakes over and over, and getting advice from friends who are honestly probably sick of hearing about it. But on the right, the coaching model flips all of that. You get total confidentiality, a fresh perspective, and a clear, actionable strategy to win. The difference is pretty stark.
And it's not just talk, right? They have a whole toolkit of services to make this happen. It's more than just coaching. They offer matchmaking, of course, but also really hands-on help, like building your online dating profile from scratch, and even wardrobe and image consulting to make sure you're putting your best foot forward.
Okay, the method sounds solid. The strategy is there. But the million-dollar question is, does it actually work? So now, let's look at the proof, and hear directly from some people who've been through it.
Check this out. This first story is all about an instant shift. This client literally felt happier and attracted someone just minutes after a session. They call it the coach's mojo, and it just goes to show how a simple change in your mindset can have powerful real-world results like right away.
And for this person, the motivation was about tackling something much deeper, that very real, nagging fear of ending up alone later in life. They call modern dating a maze, and they saw the coach as the perfect guide to finally help them navigate through all that complexity. And then there's this one, which is all about that light bulb moment, that aha, of discovering a huge knowledge gap, of realizing, wow, there's actually a skill to attracting and keeping the right person, and I never knew it. It's about learning what you didn't even know you didn't know.
Look, it's easy to think these are just a few handpicked success stories, but we're talking about hundreds of people who have found success with this service since 2006. That's a serious track record built over more than a decade of work. And all of this really boils down to one simple but incredibly powerful question. To get different results, do you have to do things differently? It's a profound idea, really. To break out of that frustrating cycle we started with, maybe what's needed is a totally new approach, not just in dating, but really in any part of life where you feel stuck.